Nick here. Hey, it's January 27th, almost 28th. I figure it's time to make another video. Not that anybody's watching the other ones, but I'm not really paying attention to that either as far as views and comments and stuff. I need to check it out again, the YouTube channel. But okay, so I've alluded to having more than one experience and only mentioning like the beginning of the first experience and then kind of towards the end of the first experience when I witnessed what appeared to be what they were trying to make me believe was God, you know, which was a large, oh, it had to be large because it was God, right? I don't know. I mean, from where I was standing, it looked like a big cloud of energy, amber colored, and there was a light electricity to it. And there was a golden colored pyramid towards the cloud's lower right side that I became fixated on. And I really want to know what that pyramid represented. That was pointing upwards and triangle basically. But it kind of looked like it had a dimension coming outwards from it. It kind of looked like a face sort of. But anyways, that was just whatever they... I'm sure if I was a Muslim, it would have been God, the Muslim God. And if I was a Christian, it would have been Jesus. And, you know, if I was a Native American, it would have been the Great Spirit. Or, you know, if I was, a Viking back before they converted to Christianity, it would have been Odin. So whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it was before that, I had a weird experience earlier that night. That was towards the end when I looked at whatever they were trying to make me think was God. And I don't know who they is either, by the way. You guys can help me out with this. But, so, I remember kind of being out on the porch, and it was like it was like one of those Easter Island heads, except it was pure energy. Was like right next to me, and obviously this was a vision, you know, and there was, I don't remember everything, you know, I just don't, and it comes back, the memory kind of comes back. I'm hoping to get full recall eventually, but I do, at this point now, I remember being with this energy, and I think I felt like I was in this energy's conscience. And I was in like a stadium, and I was in the center. It was like a bowl, and I was in the middle, and everybody I knew was looking at me. And then, see, I believe that was like, whatever, that spirit was either, okay guys, I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but it was either God or another lower form of God that was just, you know, seemed godlike to me because it was something I just couldn't, you know, this is some stuff that, you know, people would see in movies and, you know, but anyways, so, yeah, alright, I remember I got the impression that God was on my side, right? So I started immediately acting like an idiot. And there was like, everybody I knew was looking at me, and I think I was like, now what's up? Like, I started acting like real cocky and arrogant. Just like, haha, now what's up? God's got my back. Hey, I'm making a video, so, you know, just don't worry about it. But, so, then, see, I believe I was being communicated in parable form. Like, I was being communicated to in the form of a parable. Because there was no talking or anything, you know. But, so I immediately became arrogant and conceited and just acting like I was gonna get revenge because I was having trouble. I was actually like earlier, like a week or two before that, I think I decided that I was just gonna shoot. I was gonna blow my head off. If I had a big enough gun, I would have. I really would have. That was it. I was done. I was over it. You know, we don't have to get into all that, but so I really was. I was trying to, because I took behavioral science and I took a bunch of psychology classes, so I knew what signs people would notice. So I was literally trying to figure out how can I do it, and because I wanted to do all the stuff that was on the list that people do, I like naturally wanted to do it. the right people notes, and to make sure that went to that person, this, that, and the third, make sure my stuff got, given to the right people and things like that. But I wanted to do it, in a way that nobody noticed, so that they couldn't stop me. And I was trying to figure out how to get a gun and all this stuff. I was going to sell all my things, and just that was it. But anyway, so yeah, I was having it with some people in my social life, like people I worked with and everything. I was having it. I had it. And they were in the crowd. I remember that, in this vision. So anyway, but then the tables turned, and I forget, it was like a sequence of things happened, and then all of a sudden I just felt like this electrical rush just go all the way through me, and I could see myself becoming electrified. And then I was spit out into this. It was like the waiting room for heaven or something. It was weird, and it was so generic. I remember even walking around, I got spit out there, and then I shit you guys not, this is in my vision. It was like a ball of energy came up, and it had a prosthetic face on, and it said, "God is busy." So, and then there was 5 balls of radiant white, almost bluish white energy, radiant, and they were wearing prosthetic faces. And I remember they were talking to each other, and I thought, man, those guys are cool. I got on Facebook the next day, and I was like, man, I bet they get, pardon the expression, I bet they get pussy up there. I bet they party. Those balls of energy were cool as fuck. So anyway, so I was listening to them talk, and I was like, wow, this is really happening. I was doing the whole what you do in your dream to make sure that it's real. I was really experiencing it, at least. I'm sure I wasn't literally on a cloud doing it all. It was obviously a vision in my head going through my imagination. This is what I figured out. Everything was being filtered through my imagination. So I had a lot to do with what I saw. But and then of course I thought the balls of energy were cool because they were me. They were different parts of my personality communicating with each other or something. And they were standing around a table, and it took forever for me to remember this part, but I did remember it because this whole thing happened on May 8th, 2021. So, but yeah, later on I remembered they were looking at a model of the parable that God showed me, or the godlike conscience showed me, with me in the center of a stadium with everybody I know around, circled around me, and everybody looking at me. It was right there on the table that they were all standing around. So, and then all of a sudden I was by myself with this pulsating orb in the sky. I was the generic talking to God scenario. But I don't remember a damn thing that we said to each other. Maybe it was telepathic, whatever. I don't remember. All I remember is okay, whatever. And then I looked over. I tried to look over the cloud, and then all of a sudden I was back in the waiting room, and they were "Oh, hey, God, you want to let them look at you?" Because I couldn't see God. It was a pulsating orb or something. I could see a vision of myself standing there with it up in the sky, kind of, but I couldn't look directly at it or anything. It was weird. But then it was the whole God thing I just told you, and it was okay, that energy is old looking. I remember thinking, wow, it's not as bright as these things. The energy is old looking. It was it almost looked like Pigpen from Peanuts, kind of, you know what I mean? How Pigpen had that little cloud of dust around him. That was what God looked like, kind of Pigpen. So whatever. And then they spit me back out, and I was I had a vision of myself as pure energy. And then, of course, I imagined myself flying through the roof of my apartment and landing in my kitchen, but I was probably just standing in my kitchen the whole time, of course. So that was pretty much it. I mean, with everything I told you, or made the videos about, the previous videos about when I saw that column of air, and when it tapped the cardboard box back, so I thought it was a ghost. Everybody's why did you automatically assume it was a ghost? What else would it be? You guys, it wasn't a vent. It wasn't an air conditioner. It wasn't a fan. It wasn't somebody opening the door or a window. I literally could see a column of air that was different than the rest of the air around it, and then I tapped a box towards it, and then the box tapped back. Like, empty space created a force. You know, so something out there can manipulate the laws of physics. Or, you know, they're not breaking it. It's because it's the laws of physics. They can't be broken, but they can be manipulated. And it's all in theoretical physics. Everybody, you know, that's why I know it's a natural, everything that happened was a natural occurrence that could happen. You know, and it did. So I just want to know what did it. I was scared it was the CIA for a while. Or just, you know, but I'm not making this my gimmick because I have other shit to do. I'm a college student, and I'm the president of the board of directors of a charity in my community, and I try to volunteer in my community a lot, and I stay busy doing stuff like that, and I make other videos where I'm trying to help, like, people, well, you know, assist, I don't like that word help, but, you know, inform people about the law of cause and effect and karma, and also what I want people to know about some of the stuff I learned in psychology, social psychology, as far as cognitive biases and cognitive dissonance and the Dunning-Kruger effect, or just all that kind of stuff, so that people are aware of these things, because those things become major obstacles to healthy communication. And that's what I see a lot as far as the people I know in person, in real life, and the people I see is that everybody suffers from unhealthy communication, and because we're not aware of, like, the backfire effect from cognitive dissonance. So people, they don't know that planting a seed requires time and patience and waiting for people to be receptive. There's people out there that think planting a seed is bashing someone over the head with knowledge that they might think they know is true, and it might be true or not. But when you create a conflict or a confrontation, whoever you're trying to influence is automatically gonna have a bad reaction, and they're going to strengthen their resolve, even no matter how much logic you show them and how much evidence. They're going to believe what they want to believe in that situation, because they're experiencing the backfire effect. You know, and the more you try to push your beliefs or your knowledge on people, the more they resist it. There's a lot of other stuff I try to make people aware of on other YouTube channels. I think that's more important, really, but I think it would be fun to try to figure out what agency caused my supernatural-like effect, because they can obviously hack into consciences and create visions, and it goes through the imagination. They can probably go in, you know, your hippocampus and see your memories and stuff like that, probably. I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe, and this is another thing I thought about, maybe they're really tiny. Maybe that's why they can do all that, because they're quantums. But they, like you've seen tardigrades, how small they are, but they have, you know, they have, like, hairs on them, little fine hairs, you know, so maybe there's creatures out there small like the tardigrade, but they have cognitive abilities, and they figured out how to manipulate our consciences and stuff like that. And then those are the guys, but they really don't know who created the universe and all that stuff, you know. So they're atheists, kind of. They're just an advanced race of beings compared to us. And we're basically, I figured out, like, okay, creationists and all that, and people that like to say DNA is a program, like, maybe that is true. Maybe we're robots. We're fleshy robots. And maybe they can go in our conscience and they can mimic our own conscience, and we'll think that it's us, and it'll be them telling us to do shit, and we'll think it's our own conscience, and they're fucking with us if they don't like us, or they're helping us if they like us. I mean, open your mind to the possibilities. You know, have fun, use your imagination, be creative. Don't just get stuck on, but you you were on drugs earlier that day, you were partying, man, so, you know, obviously the most logical explanation is you were on drugs. Like, okay, man, thank you for that, for real. Piss off. Piss off, man. Alright, so, yeah, because the drugs didn't make the cardboard box tap back at me, I'm sorry. So there's still other details, like, for real, and there was other experiences that there's no reason for me not to believe there's a godlike thing out there, or a godlike agency doing stuff. Sorry, there's no reason for me. Nobody's provided me any evidence for me that's worth it. It was just, I'm open to it, of course, but it would be like trying to convince me that girl didn't slap me that one time when she went in my phone. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to convince me that didn't happen too? Like, for real, because that's the kind of logic I run into with atheists, is I'm supposed to convince them of stuff, and they use the worst logic to dismiss me. And I'm supposed to be the crazy one, and it's not cool, because they're supposed to be intelligent. I always thought atheism meant it came along with some intelligence, but I was mistaken. I was. Because I saw in that group I created that once it got over like 1,000 people, it was just, they liked that juvenile humor I detested. So that's why I just handed over my admin badge and just didn't, I couldn't be a part of the day-to-day operations of that place once it had like over 10,000 people. Because I'd go in there and just get pissed off because I tried to make it a classy group, that evolutionary atheist. And I, you know, in the end, I'll at this point, I just hope they don't let there be jokes and memes about like children getting molested by priests was my one thing, and my other thing was images of people suffering. I just think, you know, just to take pot shots at God, like pictures of Africans or whatever, strong, you know, the super skinny ones with the bloated bellies and all that, and like, oh, God's not real. Look at this, God's a piece of shit because of this, and it's like, fuck off, man. Don't exploit the suffering of real people to take pot shots at a God you don't even believe in. It's just exploitive to me, and it's just poor taste, and you know. So I hope they're not doing that because when I went in there after my experience and I thought there really was a God, I was like, they banned me from my own group. So I'm still a little bitter about that because they didn't have to ban me from my own group. It's the group I invented by myself, you know. But whatever. I'm talking about Facebook, of course, where intellectualism goes to die, or to be just disgusted. I guess for real. It's just I haven't seen any intelligence on Facebook in so long. It's disgusting. I don't know what happened. It's like people's IQ automatically goes down 40 points as soon as they go into a debate group or something, or any group. There's idiots in every single group I'm in. They run. It's like you see more posts from them than anybody else, and it's hard to have any decent conversations in Facebook anymore. I'm just over it. I like Twitter better. All right, see you.